welcome to the NSA Houston podcast. We have a guest here today from University of Houston. I am so excited. She's also a fellow president. As you know, this podcast is all about presidents uniting. And so, Grecia, why don't you introduce yourself and tell them what your major is in school?
Hi, everyone. My name is Grecia Ledezma. I'm currently studying Human Resource Development at the University of Houston. I'm also currently the president for SSHRD, which is our Student Society of Human Resource Development. Woo!
Yeah, and you just started your semester, so I'm sure lots of things are going on. Very busy for you. Just like National Speakers Association, our board just started too, so definitely feeling the get started vibes going. It's a lot of effort for some cool things.
Exactly. Excited for the next semester, though.
Yeah. Well, on this podcast, really the focus is Together We Rise. And what that means really in our chapter this year, we're pursuing on how do we connect with so many other organizations to really work together, because that's how we're all successful. So that's the Together We Rise part. And so you and I have known each other for a little bit through SSHRD, the Student Society for Human Resource Development for University of Houston. And so I am really honored for you to be on here today offering a perspective from the university student side, because we're going to be interviewing in this podcast a lot of different folks that are presidents, both in organizations, companies, and schools like yours. So if you wouldn't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you figure out this is the major you wanted to study?
I love this so much. Okay, so I had a conversation with Lauren, our last president, before me, and we had both mentioned that we kind of like fell into HR because, as a child, you don't really be like, oh my gosh, I want to grow up and go into HR. But I was put into this major and I fell in love with it so much from day one. I ended up, my professors here at UH, they're absolutely amazing. They have a lot of passion for what we study. And we kind of like learn more and more about how important, how integral HR is for absolutely every organization. Especially since we're able to go into like every field, which I think is also amazing, because there's so much diversity and like inclusivity in thought with all of the, like between every organization. I think that's really what kind of got me into HR, got me like stuck into HR, is just how important it is for everyone to be included. If that answers your question.
Yeah, for sure. And about yourself, where are you from?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Houston. I love it here. I've lived here my entire life. I would like to stay here too. But I ended up actually transferring over from Lone Star. I went to the community college first because it was so much cheaper. But I ended up going there first and then transferring here into like my junior, sophomore year. And then I am really, really involved. I'm a little bit too involved on campus, actually. I always say that because I like getting involved. I like getting to know people. But I'm a part of a lot of different organizations like student government. I'm a part of a food club, a part of SSHRD, a part of like different types of clubs like Hispanic Business Student Association, stuff like that. But very, very involved.
Yeah, I love that. And I think this year for SSHRD, it's going to be a great way for you to even grow that even more as president. And I'm sure you've had meetings. I know before the podcast we started recording, you were sharing about how you've already had some meetings. If you wouldn't mind, a part of the podcast, we're working with presidents like yourself that are casting a strategy and a vision for their groups. And so what would you say is the vision for this year for SSHRD?
Oh, I want to grow us so much more. So actually, some of our officers right now aren't actually HR students. Most of them are, but a couple of them aren't. A couple of them are psychology students, and I would love to be able to get more diversity between majors into HR. Not just psychology, but also some of the health business people, because we've dealt a lot with trying to go into like the health and service field. We're also trying to get more engineers involved. We've joined like the Energy Coalition as well, trying to get, involved more with oil and gas and stuff like that. So that's really, I think, one of my main goals this semester is just like branch out within majors and get more people involved. As well as actually one of the new initiatives that we're thinking about doing is starting like our own little library where we're able to like let older students pass down or like donate their books and then give them to our new students so that they're able to get those books as well, just in case, stuff happens with the school or like they can't get the books themselves. Those are really some really important initiatives I'd like to work on.
Yeah, and it sounds like you are also doing Together We Rise. And I think that's the cool part about it. When there's collaboration, there's so many new ideas, there's so much power and people working together. As you're thinking about working your strategy for this year, I know you've probably started working with your officer team. What are some things that you might be looking for from professional organizations and companies that we might be having on this podcast too to help you? For example, we have ATD Houston. We just did a podcast. They'll be launching September 1. So you kind of get the behind the scenes scoop. They're coming out that podcast. ICF Houston is for coaching. HR Houston, we haven't talked to just yet, but other groups. So if you could speak out to the groups that would probably help you, who are the groups and what would you like to ask them for in your support?
Oh no, I love this question. So I've actually been volunteering with ATD Houston for the new conference coming up, and we've been talking a lot. We've already like done a lot of work with them in the past. We've like as our members join, we've invited them to some of their new upcoming like events and stuff where they're able to like network with those people, like professionals as well. But honestly, we are so open to like getting more information, more like networking opportunities from any kind of organization, specifically like with ATD and HR Houston, because those are amazing companies where people are so willing to help. I've learned that so much over the summer. They're so sweet. They're so willing to help. Over the past semester as well, very sweet people. But I think it's more of like just being able to like network with them and talk with people. Yeah.
Yeah, those are definitely great orgs to be a part of, and the people there are very talented. So I'm glad you're connected into them. And we've talked a lot about, from presentations from previous years, working with SSHRD, how much valuable it is to tap into the professional networks and groups. And I will say too, for any of your students that are looking on maybe being an entrepreneur, starting your own business, there's a couple of people that I've talked to that are interested in that, but don't know where to get started. NSA Houston is a great place for that because we really focus on running the business of speaking. And so if you have a coaching practice you want to run, they are members of NSA Houston. If it's training, if it's comedians, like we had a comedian last year, we have had pastors come in. So it's really anybody who wants to learn the business of speaking and figuring out how to do that as well. So our speakers come in for their different purposes and how to help with sales or marketing. And so it really transcends everything. So for students that are looking for it, please feel free to invite them. There's a lot of stuff we offer, and we're growing this year, which I'm really excited about, into the virtual space. So no matter where somebody's at, they can join easily instead of just in person.
No, I think that's great. I think public speaking is such an important, like, valuable skill that everybody needs. Not to just like sell themselves, because that's also really important, but to like help you with more confidence. And I think that's really important.
Yeah,
Great.
absolutely. Well, as you're thinking about this year and all of what your vision is and getting involved with ATD and HR Houston, anything else you'd like to ask for our audience members that are listening today for help as they are, able to reach out and contact you? And I encourage everyone to follow SSHRD on LinkedIn or Instagram. They are active and you'll find out what's going on with their students. And actually, let's revert to this question because I just got an email that said, "Hey, would you like to be a mentor for the group?" So why don't you tell them what opportunities could professionals have to work with you in this coming semester?
No, I love that. Thank you so much for bringing that up. So actually, as last semester, I was the VP of SSHRD, and that main role is mostly working with our mentorship program, which has just started. So if you'd like to, please reach out and join. We're always looking for more mentors. Again, always trying to reach out into like not just HR, but like every kind of field that we have. We've had doctors in the past. We've had engineers help us. We've had AI scientists help us before. It's absolutely, we're trying to grow into like every kind of field. But with our mentorship program, it basically helps our students learn how to grow not only professionally, but like mentally and spiritually, of course, and like into what they want to be and how they want to target their goals in the future. But with that, we're starting up signups already, I believe, on LinkedIn. You can reach out to us on there. Yes, I don't remember where I was going, but yeah. It's please reach out for our mentorship program. We would love to have more people on.
Absolutely. And if you are listening to this and perhaps this podcast gets listened to after, sign-ups are done, you offer it every semester, right? So it's something that if you're ever interested, whenever you're listening to this podcast, reach out. We're going to include the information for the chapter and SSHRD so you can get in contact with them. But as you've heard, there's a lot of opportunity because it's another great example of how together we rise, the whole theme of our podcast this year at NSA Houston. Okay, I've got one last question that I like to ask everybody just for fun. So, what's a hidden talent that you have?
Ooh, okay. So I was thinking about this for a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't have like any like Olympic kind of skills or talents, but I'm actually able to make these little origami stars fairly quickly. I have multiple of them.
Oh, cool. Look at them all.
I know, aren't they so cute? I'm able to make them like really really quickly. I'm able to make like I want to say 20 of them in like 5 minutes. It's really fun. It's so much fun. I actually ended up doing this for my sister's birthday because I wanted to get her a little gift, and I was like, I don't really know what to get her, and I'm not sure if you've seen like those little post-it notes where they're able to like write little notes on them, and they give them to like their family members, telling them how much they mean to them. And I thought about doing that, but then I saw the little stars online, and I was like, oh, these are so much cuter. So I ended up doing that instead, and here is another one.
Oh, very cool. I love how
Yeah.
fun they are. And I love how excited you are about them. Like, look at this cool thing. I have all of these.
I have so
Yeah.
many. I do so many. It's so fun.
Well, good for you on not only just being a human outside of your role, too. I think that's important for us to talk about, too. But also, thanks for your service as president for University of Houston's chapter. I think that's a very great thing to add to your resume, your experience level. I applaud you for working with ATD Houston and working with HR Houston. There's so much great things coming into your chapter. So thank you for being on today. And to our audience members, reach out to Grecia, reach out to SSHRD, follow them online. We're going to include links in there for it because at any point in time, if you're looking to give back and really raise our next generation of leaders, this is where they are. And the door is open for you to be able to pour into them whatever you think and work with them on Gracia's strategy for this semester or the next president for next semester. Any final thoughts, Gracia, that you want to share with the group?
All good. Very happy to be here. Thank you so much for letting me join.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. And to those in the audience, please feel free to follow all of the organizations we've mentioned, including NSA Houston. We are doing podcasts, we are doing webinars, we are shifting, moving, and shaking this year to really provide value to build Houston and beyond. So thanks for coming, Gracia. We'll see you next time. And to the audience members, stay tuned. There's another one coming up for you with another president on how we can work together. Take care.